was like, "Can I offer a recommendation?"
Ooh.
And I was like, "Sure, throw it at me."
Yeah.
She's like, "What if you ended the show with like the music as well?"
Ooh.
And I'm like, "That's a good idea."
I like that.
I'm like, probably something should have been doing this entire time.
Mama Zafino, thank you for that.
But I don't know. Maybe. What do you think?
I would think we should give it a shot.
Sure.
See, how. I mean, we'll dedicate this episode to her suggestion, obviously.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
We'll
That's what moms are for, to give you that helpful insight or outsight.
Outsight?
Yeah.
What?
She's not inside the box. She's outside.
Okay.
Welcome back to another Rev Podcast.
Been a minute.
Sorry for the delays. We've had some scheduling conflicts.
Life is a thing.
Life is a highway. I want to ride it all night long.
All day. All night. Sweet Susie.
I think we're doing two different songs.
It's not even a song.
Oh, wow.
That's from Kung Pao. Enter the Fist.
Oh, good movie.
I want to rock and roll all night long.
You know what I was listening to
Susie.
on the way home? I actually, CK says hi. I went to go get lunch with her today.
Oh. Couldn't come get lunch with me?
Well, you were in Pasadena and I was in Venice.
Oh, well, that's fair.
Yeah.
What's she doing all the way out there?
She works there.
Oh.
Yeah. I don't know if I'm allowed to say what she works at.
I wouldn't say that.
Yeah. But it's a cool spot.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And she does really well.
Hey, even better.
Yeah. Just the sucky 4-hour commute every day.
That one way.
Yeah.
For
sure, that one way.
For the non-LA people.
20 miles, guys. 20 miles, 4 hours.
Bro, when my friend Justin was in town, he was like, "Oh, let's go to Venice." It's like, I looked it up on the map. It's only like 10 miles away. I was like, cool. It's about an hour and a half drive. He was like, "What?"
Yep.
I'm like, "Yeah, it takes forever to get anywhere. It all sucks."
Yeah. You could probably walk there faster from your place.
Yeah. No, 100%.
Yeah.
That's the one thing that I miss most about having a motorcycle.
Is being able to zip through things.
Yeah.
You don't want that here, though. People are way too erratic here.
Oh, yeah. I don't know if you remember, but I got into a motorcycle accident here.
Yes. Yeah. For those new to LA.
But no, I mean, yes, it's definitely it's a very high risk.
And it's just obliviousness. People are just not aware, cutting into lanes. And
I think it's a double-edged sword, right? Like, so in Chicago, riding like bicycles,
yeah,
like you get these like arrogant assholes on their bikes who just like zip around and then be mad when like a car like cuts you off because you're like kind of not supposed to be there.
Yeah.
It's just this like, it's like an unspoken rule of the road that's just like, hey, bikes are also going to be on the road.
Yeah. We also get that in LA. They're called couriers.
I very rarely see them around by me.
They annoy the shit out of me.
Speaking of, you know what has been, which I don't know if it's better or worse, but a couple weeks ago, we were doing like DoorDash. And I was like staying outside because it was like, say someone was like coming up on a bike.
Right.
And they were like, hey, I'm outside. I'm like, I'm standing outside. I'm like, where are you?
Yeah.
I was like, I don't see anybody on a bike. And the guy's like, yeah, I'm not in a bike. I'm in my car. and I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Because I'm pretty sure that there's like either, I mean, I didn't look into it, but my guess is either you get paid more for that or you stay in a pretty like a closer proximity when you're like on a bike. So I was like, but that happened twice in a row. 2 people back to back orders
on bikes, but cars.
were on bikes, but in cars.
I got a better one. David ordered food here. Homie showed up on a bike. Said he was coming in a car. We never got that guy ever again because of the hills.
Oh, I believe it.
Yeah. It was just like, we were like, which way did you come from? He was like, oh, I went down the main street and then looped back up the hill. And we were like, which way are you going to go? He's like, oh, I'm just going to go back down the hill and go back. And I was like, good luck.
You're going back uphill.
I would go this way because it's a shorter hill and everything's downhill from there. He's like, no, I got it. Okay.
If you insist.
I don't know my own neighborhood.
But going back, like, so motorcycles out here,
yeah,
right, I think are the same thing where, one, I think there's an arrogance to it where they're just like, well, everyone needs to be looking out for me.
Yeah.
And I could be wrong, right?
Yeah.
I whatever. But it just felt like it was more. It feels like it's more people just going through, being like, you should be paying attention for me, and not vice versa.
Yeah. No. There's that arrogance for the most part. But I personally, I always try to take the left lane on the freeways, and I'll always hug that yellow line just so the bikers can go by.
Yeah.
But man, I've seen so many just oblivious drivers just cut in the next lane while a bike's coming up. It's like, ooh.
Well, the thing that's like weird too is, so when I was on my bike, I would split lanes, but I would only split lanes in like slow traffic.
Mm-hmm.
And I wasn't like gunning it. I was just kind of cruising a little bit faster than like what the traffic was moving at.
Yeah.
But like the second it started picking back up, I go straight back into a lane because I'm like, I'm not trying to die on the highway.
Right. Yeah.
But people will like just be flying. And like the thing that's interesting, like I'm aware of that stuff, right? So I look for it. We'll look for it whenever I'm driving.
Yeah.
And whenever it's like, say if the road is like veering right, well, there's been times where I've like gone to like, all right, time to turn, and it's like last minute that I see a bike like coming from around the corner because it's kind of like a natural blind spot.
Right.
And so I'm just like, bro, you need to slow down. Like you almost died today, and it probably would have been my fault somehow. I'm like, and I'm not trying to deal with that.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
It's wild.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't see a whole lot of people riding bikes really ever.
Bicycles? Yeah, bicycles is a little it's a little tougher to, well, let's see. I guess not around your neighborhood as much. Trying to think. There's a bunch of bicyclists around here.
Yeah, well, it's
all over Pasadena.
It's a little less traffic-y.
Yeah.
So it kind of makes
wider
more sense.
lanes, bike lanes.
There's actual bike lanes. Like I'd be comfortable riding my bike around here. But the thing that gets me going whenever I ride my bike, like, is that I feel like most of the people that are driving around, they're like so unfamiliar with like bikes being on the street that like they don't know how to react or respond to it.
Yeah.
So it makes me like super uncomfortable to ride my bike around.
And what's worse is sometimes they overreact and they'll like lean into the other lane, and you're just like, dude, what are you doing? Yeah, I get it. There's a bike there. Either slow down or wait for there to be a gap for you to shift over. Don't just assume you can come into my lane because I don't see the goddamn bike.
Yeah, I mean it is interesting going from like one city that's like heavily bike friendly versus another, where because like cars would just drive, right? Like you leave enough room, but like between wherever like you and the bike, but like most people who are doing that aren't like swerving and like weaving around and stuff. So it's like, it's a pretty straight line. So as long as you don't like inch closer to the bike, you're pretty much fine.
Yeah, you'll be okay.
Yeah, it's or you get doored, which is always a fun time.
Bam. That's another thing that people, I don't know if it's statewide, but like people in LA just fling their fucking doors open. Mm-hmm. It drives me insane.
They do that, and then they also will do U-turns from a parking spot. I've almost T-boned people.
Me too. That shit frustrates me. I will do it on an empty street, right? Nobody coming. I'm very aware of my driving. But if it's a crowded street, my mindset's already pull out, find yourself another street.
Yeah.
Do a lap if you need to. But you're not making a U-turn in this middle of this fucking intersection.
No, it's wild. It's the most, like, driving around here. I mean, I feel like we've talked about this a bajillion times already, but like, man, driving in LA is just, it's another world. And like, none of it is like city driving. It's just idiots.
Yeah.
And because I was super comfortable driving through like the city, which is wild in its own right, where, I don't know. I'm making hand motions that don't translate to audio. So I got to figure
left, right, up.
I got to use my words, up, down, A, B, start. So like driving around cars, and just like, I don't know how to describe it. Yeah. My brain's not functioning. It's not high functioning today, but nonetheless. So I was like super comfortable with that. It seems super aggressive, and like a lot of people are uncomfortable with like city driving.
Mm-hmm.
But I actually feel like less safe driving around here.
Yeah.
Because it's so erratic. Like there's no method to the madness. At least in like Chicago, you'd like know what's happening.
You know what frustrates me about our cities here in LA? They're adding roundabouts to everything. People in LA don't know what the hell a roundabout is.
Dude, you don't see those ever. You barely see those.
Oh my God. People have panic attacks going around those things. It's fun to watch from the side, but if I'm like pulling up to a roundabout and I go, okay, there's 6 cars coming, I'm going to have to sit here for a half an hour because I know how this fucking circle works. But then as soon as I get in, people freak out and they're like, oh my God, it's supposed to be my turn. It's like, yeah, fucking please get rid of these roundabouts. Just put stop signs.
Well, I mean, they're technically, they keep the flow of traffic going a lot better when people are like more familiar on how to use them.
Yes, yeah.
But I've never experienced a roundabout until I was, I don't know, 21. Oh. And that was in Indianapolis.
Yeah.
I've never seen a roundabout before that.
Yeah.
Other than like TV. Mm-hmm. So I remember it was this girl that I was dating. She moved out there, and I remember the first time going to see her, and near where she lived, there were like very rarely ever like stop signs or streetlights. So a lot of it was like roundabouts to go like everywhere. And I remember like hitting that first one, like, I don't know what I'm doing. Yeah. Like I was like, oh my God, what am I doing?
Yeah.
I'm going to kill myself or somebody else, or like I'm just going to somehow drive straight through the middle. I don't know what's happening.
I took my first one like a champ. I was like, I got this. Get the hell out of the way. May have cut a couple people off, but I got through it. Survived.
So
yeah,
I don't mind them. I've seen a couple around here, in like the Pasadena area.
Yeah,
which is kind of fun because I was like, oh, roundabout.
Well, luckily the ones closer to that like nice part of Pasadena, there's no traffic there, so you can take your time going around that roundabout.
It's true. It's in a very odd spot.
Yeah,
like it doesn't make the one that I've seen doesn't make sense where it is because it doesn't seem like a high trafficked area that
also
needs it.
It's like a tri-lane, like it goes north south and then one lane goes east west, but you either go left or you go right, and it's just like, why is this here? It should just be a stop sign.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, which it was before. Yeah, I don't know why they decided to add a roundabout and trees in the middle.
Yeah, it's because they had extra money over and they need to spend it to make sure they keep their budget.
Absolutely right. Pasadena is notorious for that.
Oh, is it really? I was just making a joke.
No. Pasadena's they throw random things everywhere, and it's like, why is this here? Why did we add this? Why?
It's called beautification.
It is called beautification, where no one will see it. Also, in a row of trees that already exist.
Well, we need it.
We don't need it.
Whatever it is, it's needed.
I guess. Let me be on that budget committee.
Yeah.
Get myself a new chair, new door.
A new door?
Yeah, for my office that I don't have.
Oh.
Yeah.
Just charge it?
Yeah, just charge it.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Just random discretionary funds. Mm-hmm. I'm sure it's fine.
Yeah. Then sell it on the black market.
On OfferUp.
Yeah, or that too.
Eric, what are we talking about today?
I have no idea.
Oh, perfect.
I have no idea.
All right. Well then,
I was listening to Spice Girls on the way home.
Yes.
Yeah. Have we had this discussion yet?
About Spice Girls?
Yeah. Who's your favorite Spice Girl? And why is it Sporty Spice?
Oh, it's not Sporty Spice. I'm a posh boy.
I'm a posh boy too, but Sporty Spice all the way. I think it's sporty and then posh for me.
When I was a kid,
yeah,
it was posh.
Uh-huh.
As an adult,
yeah,
it's scary. I'm definitely a Mel B fan.
I love Mel B. Yeah, don't get me wrong. I love Mel B.
I've aged into realizing Mel B was where I was at.
Yeah,
all along.
Me, it was definitely sporty, posh, scary, baby Ginger.
Poor Ginger. She never got the loving that she wanted.
No, she didn't.
Oh well.
Too much of nothing is bad enough. Yes.
Hell yes, that's so good. Oh man, I love the Spice Girls.
Yes.
Well, so what I kind of wanted to talk about and just kind of muse on for a wee bit was so part of the reason why we didn't record.
Yeah.
Definitely didn't film either.
Didn't film, no.
But part of the reason why we didn't record kind of 2 weeks ago was because I had to go out of town for a funeral. And it was that. And then which led to kind of the reason why we didn't record on the following week. Yep. And so part of it, I kind of want to muse over this kind of these concepts a little bit, and just about, I guess, kind of death and just like funerals in a little bit, and it'll kind of make a little bit more sense as I progress through this. But man, I haven't been to a funeral in a while.
Yeah.
And
Frankie just brought me your rope. I love you.
I haven't been to a funeral in a while, and it's
Oh, he brought it to you.
let alone a like a very like religious kind of funeral.
Right.
And the whole process is just so interesting to me. And just kind of the way that, I guess, the mourning process and kind of how we go through kind of the stages of grief, but also the, I guess, excitement for life, there's kind of the retellings of stories and kind of, the ups and downs that kind of come through, the process of, I guess, death, right? To a certain degree. Mm-hmm. I guess this would be kind of post-death. And it's interesting to kind of, to some degree, be an outsider looking in, but also being the insider as well, in the sense of like knowing the person that passed.
Right.
But what was really intriguing to me was kind of talking to people all throughout, like people coming and going. And so it was, yeah. So what was interesting was listening to how people talked about, her name was Barb, and how people talked about her and just the life that she lived. And it's, I think most people going at a funeral, they're probably not going to start talking shit. Maybe poor taste.
Yeah.
But I think, it's kind of, most people aren't going to be talking shit, right? So I'm hearing a lot of good things. Not saying that there's a whole lot of bad things as far as I'm aware. Anyway, whatever. weird thought process. But anyway, but listening to like what people have to say in so many different facets of, how somebody affected their lives, at what stages, like people met, younger, older, whether it's like family. And it's, it really had me like thinking about, like how you go about life. And it really had me going about thinking how you kind of move through the world and interact with people, and the kind of the impressions that you give on people. So like I remember hearing this interesting or reading this interesting line that was kind of saying that, everybody that you meet has a different version of who you are. Mm-hmm. Because of whatever facets. When did you guys meet? Like, so my version and thinking of myself is one way. Your version of me is a different way. Marissa's version of me is a different way, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
And so it was kind of that I got to literally watch that and listen to that happen, kind of through the wake and the funeral and stuff. And it's an interesting kind of like existential crisis that happens, or at least happened to me, as I was kind of going through thinking about myself and how all of that stuff works. And one definitely made me want to make sure I'm not a shitty person, because holy shit, there's so many good things that I heard about. There's so many good things that I heard about Barb that I was like, oh man, I definitely got to make sure I'm not a piece of shit.
Yeah. You want people to talk good about you.
Yeah, definitely. But it is like, I was sitting there at one point, right? And the family was kind of doing their own thing. And I was just kind of sitting in the back, just kind of, thinking, and was kind of putting myself in the shoes mm-hmm. of the deceased, if you will. And just kind of imagining what that would be for me, and what would people be saying? And like, I guess as much as I could think about.
Yeah.
What would be like accomplishments of mine? What would be the life that I built, and how would I guess myself think about it, but also how would the perceptions of it be like thought about?
Right.
Which is an interesting concept. And if you're ever in a weird existential mood, I kind of recommend going through that, because it's a really kind of humbling thought process without actually ever having to be humbled by like something else.
Yeah, it's definitely eye opening. I mean, I used to use the phrase like I don't care what people think about me, and it's not entirely true, right? I do care what people think about me, but for the most part, at the time, I don't let it get to me or let it bother me. I do want people to think that like I'm a decent human being. I don't want people to think, oh, this guy's a piece of shit.
Yeah.
Right. I think, yeah, I've definitely done that where I've sat back with a glass of whiskey and I'm like, fuck, what, like. Have I done anything in the last year, right? Usually it's annually. Have I done anything in the last year that would cause people to go, he's changed, and not for the good, right? Because usually when people say it's either not for the good or they're stuck in their ways, right? But it's like, have I done anything? Let me look back. Have I pissed anybody off this year that didn't deserve it? Have I done wrong to somebody that probably didn't deserve it? And that's my big goal, right? It's like, I try not to upset the balance of life, whether it's my life or someone else's life, over pointless or needless things. Mm-hmm. I can say in the last probably 3 years, I've been pretty good. Beyond that, I don't remember or don't care. Yeah. So I'm there with you. It's definitely something to sit and ponder on just as a self-reflection.
Yeah.
Just to see, what are you doing, good or bad, that you can change or better.
Yeah, and it was a weird weekend, in a good way.
Yeah.
Just a lot of things that kind of happened. At the same time, I was reading this book called The Go-Giver. Mm-hmm. Highly recommend, by the way. It's a super short read. I forget the name of the author, so apologies, but I remember the name of the book. And it's kind of this it's this story about a business guy who was essentially he was just trying to make this last sale because he was nervous that he was going to get fired and all this jazz. So he kind of meets this guy who is like the guy when it comes to making connections, making sales, just big business type of, whatever. Mm-hmm. And the moral of the story is that there's this kind of concept of giving more than you receive. And not in the sense of like this karmic type of justice, if you will, but when you have, from a business sense, when you have others in mind, and I guess in more specifically kind of thinking about the client, then you tend to get more back just because of you being caring, essentially. It's just about being caring.
Yeah.
There's a lot more to it than that, and that's a very, very superficial way to describe it, but I highly recommend it.
Yeah, you're not giving away spoilers in the book.
No, it's definitely worth the read. Very much so. And it's probably one that I think it's one of those books. It's short, which is nice. Like, mm-hmm. I read it in like a half of a plane ride and like a night.
Yeah.
Essentially.
Awesome.
It's like only like 140 pages or something like that.
Those are definitely my style of books.
And it's super easy reading. But all of that was like an interesting culmination to an interesting addition to the weekend, as now I'm thinking about like how to move through space being, how do I move through, say, like business, trying to be a good business person.
Yeah.
And then and then on top of that, the idea of like just moving through space as a not shitty person,
right.
Like being a good person as well. So man, had quite the emotional weekend as I'm trying to like parse all these concepts out.
That's definitely a roller coaster weekend.
Yeah. But in an interesting way, I think it opened up a lot of thoughts to me, about kind of how I think it opened up a lot of views in my mind of what I want to do. And that leads into why we didn't record last weekend.
Yes.
Which was because ultimately one of the big things that kind of came to my head was like, when we're talking about, and I think this is we talked about this like
way back,
like last year, where I kind of argued the point of like I think the COVID, for better or for worse, more often than worse, but like one of the diamonds in the rough is that people are kind of realizing the jobs that they don't like, or realizing the lifestyles that they actually want, and have kind of been bogged down by whatever thing it is. Mm-hmm. And it took a little bit, but I think I kind of came to a self-realization in this respect too, when it comes to like work as well. So I ended up essentially leaving the company that I've been working with.
Yes.
And so we didn't record the last time because I had that conversation pretty much right before I got over here. And you're like, let's go grab a drink and grab dinner.
Yeah.
So we did that instead.
Yeah. We celebrated your birthday.
And my birthday.
I wasn't able to share that with you. And then
I was at a funeral.
Yeah. And then we celebrated your future.
Yeah.
You know, two very important life things. But like, I mean, I guess I can't be proud of your birthday, but I am proud of your future. You know, like I'm very excited for you to do that one. So yeah, I feel like going out and getting food and drinks was definitely more important. I mean, we love our podcast, but
for sure,
definitely more important to spend that time together to celebrate.
Yeah, it was. I'm glad you did that, and I truly appreciate that because it was kind of it was definitely something I needed at that moment, and it was interesting too. So in that book, one of the in the Go-Giver, one of the things that's interesting is it's you have to be comfortable and like they talk about is like being comfortable receiving, right? So your goal out there is you're the giver, right? In a lot of these instances, you also have to accept the reciprocity that is likely going to come from that.
Yeah.
And it was kind of it was an interesting exercise in being like, I got to accept this. Like you're being a really good friend, and like you took me out and grabbed like for food and a drink. Like so, why should I turn that necessarily down?
Yeah. You tried to.
I definitely tried to.
You fucking tried to with your nasty ass fucking 7-Eleven burritos.
I'm so fucking uncomfortable. I get so uncomfortable with shit like that, and I think that's a really good exercise for me to practice because I'm not good at getting stuff.
Yeah.
Like I feel uncomfortable. I get uncomfortable when people are like, yeah, sure. I'll buy lunch. And like, no. It's okay. Like I don't have anything to prove.
Yeah.
But for whatever reason in my head, I'm like, no.
I used to be that way too. And I had to practice safety because like being in our line of work, being a coach, all we do is give. Give. We don't expect anything in return. So, you know, when people come up to us like, oh, here's, you know, a Starbucks gift card. And I'm like, for what?
Yeah.
They're like, for all your hard work. And I'm like,
they're like, I appreciate you.
Yeah. And I'm like I'm taken aback. I'm like kind of upset. I'm like, I don't need this shit. But then like something in my mind goes, oh, it's a thank you.
Yeah.
Like it's a thank you. And I'm like, I must not get those a lot because I don't know how to react. Like,
well, I think it's, I mean, not to pat ourselves on the back.
Yeah.
But I think it is exactly what you just pointed out in that regard where, you know, we don't do it. We don't do any coaching. Love you, Frankie. So loud. We don't do the coaching for necessarily the glory. We don't, or like the recognition. I mean, some do, but I don't think we do.
Yeah.
We do it because we genuinely, one, enjoy it. And then two, like the things that get me high is like the accomplishments of my clients.
Oh yeah.
Like when someone tells me some success, however minor it might be in their eyes, puts me like cloud nine. My day has been made at whatever point in time that was made. And so I'm just walking fucking all light footed for the rest of the day. I'm just like, yes.
I love, I used to love hearing like, oh, hey, I was able to, do my clean, added 5 pounds. And, my first thing is like, it's not a congratulations. It's a, did you use proper form?
Yeah.
And when they go, oh yeah, I used proper, they show me a video and I'm like, good fucking job.
Hell yeah.
Like that's, I don't know. I guess like we're teachers first, and we're just like, did you do it right?
Yeah,
like, you can. Yeah, like if you can do it, I know you can do it, but did you do it right? Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. Our coach brains don't switch off. I don't know.
It's weird.
Yeah.
So somebody made a comment to me, one of my clients today, and she was asking. She's like, "Do you ever just like randomly count shit like through the day?" And I'm like, "Yes,
all the time."
I'm like, all the time. I'm like, if I hear something repetitious in the background, I'll catch myself being like 15, 16. I'm like, wait, what?
Yes.
Why am I counting that?
Yes. Yes. Oh my God. When I'm on set, I'm counting lights. I'm counting stands. I'm like, why am I counting this? What is wrong with me? Like,
it's just our Rain Man.
Yeah. And they'll be like, what take are we on? In my head, I'm like 17. Like, why do I know that? I shouldn't know that. It's not important to me.
Though I will say you got some weird ass memory.
I do.
Because there's times where I'll just read a workout off to you, and then like I immediately forget.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what are we doing next? And you're like, oh, we got blah blah blah. And it's gonna be this and this time thing, and then we're gonna do this rest, and then like after that we got this thing, and like for the accessory, it's all this stuff. Yeah, and then we're gonna go get some food, and I'm like, what?
Yeah. How did you memorize a half an hour? I don't know.
Like that was one take and you got it. Like, God damn, it's impressive.
I honestly don't know. I'm able to look at a workout. Give me about 20 seconds to look at it. I will never have to look at it again. I can write it down somewhere else. I don't know. I don't know what it is. I also have the 90s recorded in my brain. I just told CK that I have 90% of the movie Forrest Gump recorded in my brain. Yeah, I don't know. I pick up the weirdest things and I hold on to them somewhere in this database.
Yeah. It's with my another guy that I was working with today. Some girl was in the gym working out, and I was like, feel free to play some music, and killer playlist. Mm-hmm. It was awesome. It was like Hall & Oates. It was like the B-52s.
Oh yeah.
It was like a lot of disco music, but it was like, I mean, me and my client talked. We're like, yeah, kind of all disco is shitty, but hey, like, God damn, does it make you want to bop your head?
But for some reason, like, yeah, it'll be on in the background. You're just like,
yeah, it's like hard not to like bop your head to it.
You can't not. And then you know what? I think it just gets a bad rep because of John Travolta. I think that's all it is.
Maybe.
You know, that white tuxedo.
Hey, man.
I'm not saying he didn't look good. Just saying that's the rap that it gets.
Saturday Night Fever, right?
Yeah.
But he was impressed because I was like, oh, I'm like, this is Hall & Oates. And he's like, I have no idea. I was like, no, that's not a question. I was just letting you know it's Hall & Oates.
No, I'm telling you.
And I was like, Maneater. And I was like, for me, I'm just more so like, how do you not remember this?
Yeah.
Like, how do you not know this song?
Yeah.
Like, you should.
Have I told you? Oh, so I got into it with a customer when I was working at Trader Joe's.
Oh, boy.
Kiss was on. And I'm like rocking out to it. And this lady goes, you're too young to know who this is. And I was like, oh, really? I go, who do you think it is? And she goes, oh, it's Red Hot Chili Peppers. I stopped what I was doing. And I was like, you think this is Red Hot Chili Peppers? How old do you think I am? She's like, oh, you can't be more than 21. I was probably like 28 at the time. And I go,
it's because you're so goddamn cute.
I was like, miss, this is Kiss. She's like, no, it's not. I'm like, really? Do we really have to go through this? Pulled out my phone, did the lyric thing by the speaker, showed it to her. She's like, oh my God, I'm old. I should know this. Now you're old? What does that make me now? Jesus Christ, lady.
Older.
Yeah.
Older.
Yeah. No, I was. Yeah. I have a weird talent.
I wish I had the recall. Like, I feel like my weird memory only works when something sparks the thought. Or I'm in like in a situation that kind of sparks it. Otherwise, like I feel like half the time I don't know shit, and then all the like out of nowhere, I'm just like, "Hey, you want to know some random shit about like string theory?" And so, funny enough, so over the funeral weekend, a cousin is going to school for chemistry, and I was like, "Hell yes!" And I guess when she came in, her like first thing was like, "Where's Ryan?" Because I want to talk science. And I was like, hell yes, that's awesome. But I don't use most of the stuff that I learned.
Right.
And so when we were talking, I was like, she started like throwing some stuff at me, and I was like, okay, I'm like, here's the deal. I haven't like actively studied any of this stuff in years.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I'm gonna need you to like slow down a little bit. Let me kind of let it come
process.
Like let it come back to me, and then we can like continue the talk. Cause she was like, I was doing this like redox reaction. Blah, blah,
she
blah.
was just going off.
Yeah, no social cues. She could not pick up on the social cues of like I'm getting lost. So I had to just blatantly be like,
big old sign.
Yeah,
slow down.
I had to blatantly be like, pump the brakes a little bit. You're talking past me at this point.
I haven't studied this in 10 years.
Seriously, man. Yeah, it was crazy. She was like throwing all this shit out there, and I was like, "Oh, I'm like, I remember what these are." I'm like, "But I've heard these. I remember hearing these." I'm like, "But it's taking me a minute to connect the dots." But anyway, we were having this fun conversation, and at one point, somebody else came in, and we were talking about, oh God, what were we talking about? Oh, like different like. So she's interested in like nuclear chemistry, which I think is awesome. Yeah. I always found nuclear chemistry the most entertaining, which thankfully she enjoyed that because that's probably the most I retained. But we were talking about different like particles and like alpha particles and stuff, and some other things as it relates to like quantum mechanics.
Yeah.
And somebody like walked in to the conversation and just like straight walked out. Like, you ever see that? It was like that Simpsons episode with like.
You know what's so funny is I was gonna say like Homer did.
No, not Homer. It was his dad.
Oh.
So his dad like walks in whistling, turns around, drops his hat, turns back around, sees Bart, turns back around, grabs his hat, and walks out the door.
Yes. Oh my god.
That's almost exactly what happened, and it was so funny.
That's perfect.
And I'm like, cool.
Yeah.
Get out of here, nerd.
Or not nerd.
Not nerd. But it was great. It was so fun talking about that. But anyway, so the weekend, that weekend kind of really had me thinking about what, kind of what I wanted to do. And like I said, it kind of brought me into the lens of, more into the forefront of my mind of that I need to change like just what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And I think part of it too, when we talk about like legacy, don't get me like I've had a couple. I've had one really big moment at least in my life that kind of gave me like some real realization. Actually, I should say two. But the first that gave me like a real realization of like what it is that we do, and how impactful it can be was, I had Marissa threw a secret going away party for me when I was leaving Chicago before I moved here. And she managed to get a bunch of my clients, both current and old, to show up. And it was, again, first I was uncomfortable because I was like, why are you all here?
Yeah.
Because like in my mind, I'm just like, yeah, it's no big deal.
Yeah.
But like I've made some sort of impact and for the positive in a lot of these people's lives and again, now I'm patting myself on the back now, but like they felt strong enough to be able to like take some time out of their day to come and like say thank you.
Yeah.
And like kind of see me off. Which was like, at the time, I don't think I fully appreciated, but as time progressed, I realized how much that meant to me.
Yeah.
And not to say that what I'm doing or what I guess was doing with, with the company that I was with wasn't good in any way.
Right.
But I feel like it kind of, for me, I felt like, there's more to be done. And that I almost kind of in a weird way feel like an obligation to do more. And so that's where like working with like the high school has kind of come into play where I'm like, I really want to see that through.
Yeah. No, and it looks like you're having fun over there. And
dude, it's a blast.
Yeah.
I love it. It's so much fun. In so many different ways. And I'm not going to hold my breath on anything, but I do kind of truly hope that something comes of that to make it a little bit more.
Yeah.
Cause I don't know, I love fitness. And so the idea of being able to, help the Utes get a little bit more inclined and a little bit better with it too, seems that it could be, help in the long run, especially athletics.
The help in the what?
What?
The what?
But yeah, I don't know. I just kind of want to talk about it a little bit because I thought it was just interesting. And I feel like I'm not even doing a great job at kind of fully encompassing kind of where my thought process went.
Yeah.
Because to a certain degree, I feel like I'm still like processing.
I think you are. I mean, we talked about this last week where it's like it's going to be a little while before you kind of move forward. I don't want to say move on, but move forward with it. It's just like anything else that's life-changing. You're going to have to process it still. And even when you think you're done processing it, something that works in both yours and my mind is where it's tickling in the back. We're like, did I make the right decision? Did I do the right thing? Was I motivated or am I doing it for the right reasons? Right? Like there's always gonna be that little what if. And I've kind of learned to kill that what if and just look forward because I mean, so far my progress since my what if is nothing but abundant in happiness. Like
it's true.
I try not to worry about the what ifs anymore. I try. It took a while.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. It took a long time to stop worrying about the what ifs. But since then, I'm so much happier. So much happier.
That's what took me out here, honestly. When I had the falling out with my old gym. Actually, it's not even the old gym. It was the new fitness director.
Mm-hmm.
The opportunity to work out here in LA, it was that what if situation. And Marissa and I had a really long conversation about it. And I think both of us, and I think more so me, because this was my first time actually like leaving from like where I'm from.
Yeah.
That to play that what if game is a dangerous game.
Huge.
Like not in like the literal danger.
No, but it's
mentally.
You risk a lot.
Yeah.
You risk a lot.
And the thing that kind of solidified it for me was I would rather, pretty much the thought process was I would rather move out here, hate it, and move back than play the game of staying there and go, what would have happened if I would have moved?
Right.
If I would have moved out there. And it's kind of, I actually haven't thought about that in a while, so I'm glad you brought that back up.
Yeah.
Because I think I am, pretty grateful for the move, because I think I probably would have been a little bit more comfortable. Definitely wouldn't have met you.
Mm-hmm. No,
very unlikely.
Yeah, your life would have been
way worse,
a little less happy.
Man, way worse.
Yeah.
Could you imagine?
Well, you'd still have. Hold on, don't let me butcher his name. Esteban.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
yeah. Esteban.
Esteban. Yeah, you'd still have Esteban.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean,
So you have an East Coast best friend and a West Coast best friend.
I'd have the core. Back from Chicago, I'd still have the core group, right? Like Esteban, Mick, Bill.
Now you got me and Brian.
Yeah. Now I got to deal with Brian.
We could stream snipe him.
We were playing last night, and we were doing just like a private game.
Yeah.
And at one point, I had his thing up, right? Because I'm trying to be a good friend.
Right, of course.
I'm trying to watch, give him some more
wanna
viewers.
Support him,
right? Help him climb the ranks.
Yeah.
And the first thing he goes is he goes, "Don't fucking stream snipe me." And I'm like, you know what? I wasn't even thinking about that because he was playing like killer.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right.
Well, it's kind of hard to stream snipe the killer. Like in that game, you're being chased.
Yeah, it's not that easy.
Yeah.
It's really, I think it's the opposite way.
I agree. If you're hiding,
if you're a killer, or if you're a survivor,
if you're a survivor
100%.
and you're hiding, yes, you can totally be stream sniped.
We're talking about Dead by Daylight, by the way.
Yeah, if you don't know, sorry.
Yeah, though. So, probably one of the funniest things I've heard in a long time. Like really caught me off guard. So I'm not going to explain the game, so I apologize if you don't know what I'm talking about. But so when I was doing one of the generators, I was getting like skill check after skill check after skill check. And at one point I was like, what is happening?
Yeah.
It was like 7 in a row.
Wow.
Like one after the other after the other.
Jesus.
And one of the guys that we were playing with just goes, God gives the hardest challenges to his strongest warriors. And it was so out of the goddamn blue.
Oh my god! Was this in the friend group?
Yeah.
Was it Banda?
No.
Oh.
I've never played with this person before.
Okay.
But holy shit! It took a minute to like process.
Yeah.
And then like everybody in like a collective like
Yeah.
Oh man,
I would have died laughing.
So I ended up saying that to one of my last client today.
Yeah.
Because he's like, can we do like a leg bench, like a leg chest, like shoulder workout? I'm like, sure, let's do that. And like we were like, maybe like we were towards the end, right? And he was just at one point he got real pale, and I was like, "You good?" I'm like, "Are you okay?" He's like, "Yeah, I'm feeling fine." I'm like, "You don't
look fine."
I'm like, "Don't be a hero." I'm like, "Because you don't look good." And he's like, "You say I look like shit?" I was like, "Yes, but you look like you might pass out." I'm like, "So let's calm down a little bit here."
I'm saying it for a reason.
Yeah,
for your protection.
And so whatever. Anyway, I had him do something else to kind of like calm down for a minute. And I like threw that line at him, and he like just straight stopped, and he goes, "What the fuck did you just say to me?" He's like, "This is way too much. I can't deal with whatever is happening right now." He's like, "I'll process and I'll shoot you a message later."
Oh my god, that's awesome.
I was like, "We're in the house of God right now."
Yes.
Which he also didn't believe. He was like, "Hold on, this place turns into a church?" And I was like, "It does." But anyway,
Frankie's butt is on the power charger and his head is on my shoe.
There we go.
He's so handsome.
So cute. But yeah, I think the point of why I kind of want to talk about this was just to kind of put it out into the ether. Well, hopefully not the ether. I guess into the universe.
The universe is closer, yeah.
Yeah, the void. But out into the world of, if you haven't had a moment to kind of think through what it is, a little bit of like what it is that you want your kind of future life to look like, I kind of highly recommend it. And kind of reverse engineer it and work backwards in the ways of like what are the things that you need to do in order to get you to the whatever that future looks like for you.
Yeah.
And if the current doesn't necessarily look like it, then it might be worthwhile to kind of look at how you can reevaluate how everything is going.
Absolutely.
And I'll say I'm very like privileged in a way that, and I'm fortunate. I think fortunate is probably the best way to describe it because, I have Marissa who I can kind of lean back against. She's definitely supported me in the decision. Mm-hmm. But I can kind of lean a little bit against knowing that, I have like, some support system if, if things don't go well.
Yeah.
But I think it's a risk. At least for me, it was a risk worth willing to take to kind of go and pursue my own thing and kind of build the legacy that I want to build for myself, essentially.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And, it's an easier task said than done because you have to look at yourself through another lens, an unbiased lens.
Yeah.
You can say, what it is comfort, right? You're comfortable with who you are now. And you could say, oh, yeah, I could see myself doing this in 5 years. And it's like, okay. But then you ask yourself the tougher question. What are you doing day by day or week by week to make sure that you're going to get there in that 5 years? And then it's like, well, shit, I'm not doing anything.
Yeah.
It's hard to ask yourself those questions. It's really hard.
That's the harsh realization, too, is like, I think a lot of people will use or can rightfully use this past year as, a little bit of a buy, right? And to some degrees, I don't disagree.
Yeah.
But ultimately, we're kind of in the stages of moving forward, moving past this to a certain degree. So you kind of got to start to look at it in the way of like, well, ask yourself those hard questions of like, am I doing any of the things that I wanted? And when I kind of asked myself that, it was a resounding no, which is super uncomfortable to look at and be like, man, I kind of feel like I wasted a little bit of my time.
Yeah.
Not necessarily doing things that are going to progress me towards the way that I want to do stuff or the life that I want to live. And that was like, that sucks.
Yeah.
Like, that's a shitty feeling to go and be like, oh man.
Yeah.
I don't know if I have been going the right way.
Yeah.
Or a way, if you will.
A way. Yeah.
It's tough.
A
way.
It's definitely tough. Yeah. But yeah, you definitely got to sit and reflect.
So I kind of throw the challenge out there to do that a little bit, which is interesting, right? One of my clients will talk about like, he's like, man, you got to put that shit out in the universe. He's like, whether you believe in a God or not, he's like, you put it out there.
Yeah, it doesn't even have to be a God. Whether you believe in. So my cousin had told me, God, 5 years ago now, maybe more. Yeah, 5 years ago now, he told me, you have to believe in yourself. And then he reaffirmed it 2 years ago, even last year. He said, you have to bet on yourself. There's no more what if you'll lose, because what if you win? What if you succeed? You got to stop looking at it in the negative. Like, you can't, like, if you're going to ask yourself, well, what if I fail? You have to ask yourself, what if I succeed? Because most people just stop at what if I fail?
Yeah.
They don't ask themselves the other question. So, now my outlook on it is that thing worth it? Yes. Can I succeed at it? Probably. Let's write down the steps on how to get there. I try not to look at can I fail? Will I fail at this? I try not to. I know it's there because it has to be the opposite. It's got to be the balance of the opposite. And you want to avoid those steps towards failure to get those steps towards success. But to have that positive outlook on something, bet on yourself. Bet on yourself to win.
Yeah.
Bet on yourself to succeed.
Well, and I think it's interesting too. Like, one of my clients told me this week too, where he was like, "Look, man, you're gonna fail at things."
Yeah.
He's like, "Just accept that now."
Yeah.
He's like, so that way it doesn't beat you up later.
Yeah, absolutely.
And he was like, he's like, and I can tell you, I have failed a lot.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, but those are all, part of failures. And this is very, what a fucking generic thing I'm about to say. Right. But you learn from your mistakes.
Yeah.
but it's true. And you learn from them in a way that when you're going into like the next decision-making process, you now know what not to do. Or at least you can look for like flags to say, like red flags to be like, this is leading in a weird direction or something reminiscent of a past. And so we need to kind of veer and move, adjust.
Absolutely.
So as generic as it is, it's kind of a true statement.
Yeah. Yeah. And as long as you're staying away from, as Einstein's definition of insanity,
doing the same thing over and over again,
expecting a different result. If you're learning from those failures, you're technically not doing the same thing. If you're applying something different each time, yes, it's a failure, but you're getting one step closer to that success.
Yeah, it's like science almost, right? You think about like the scientific method.
Yeah.
It's kind of exactly what it is, right?
It's 100% the same thing.
Throw out a hypothesis, you test it.
Yeah. Doesn't work, you take the data, you study the data, your next attempt is something different.
Is something different, trying to see what would happen,
yeah.
right? You test things again.
Absolutely.
It's an interesting way, actually. And that's a good way to kind of think. I think it's a fun way to kind of think about it, is like your life is a series of scientific method tests.
It really is.
Like scientific method approaches.
It really is. Yeah.
All right. Well, that's kind of all I had to I wanted to kind of muse over a little bit. Anything you want to add on to that, or anything else you want to chat about?
I recently discovered, I discovered, not he's been discovered. I discovered a new artist his name is Connor Maynard. He's an English dude. If you guys like English dudes who sing, I think he has a really good voice. I like his music, so I would definitely give him a try. I think I sent you an Instagram of him.
Oh yes, was that the joke one?
The joke,
the funny one, or no?
No, that was a different one.
When I was coming back,
oh wait, no, I think that was the one.
The whatever on your face.
Yes, that one.
Okay,
yeah. That was a good one.
The TikTok man is a wild ride.
Oh my god.
The other one, the other thing that I kept finding, which was super funny, was I don't actually know what the lyrics are, but it's like, I just something like in my cup.
Oh yeah.
Or whatever the lyrics are.
I don't remember.
Yeah,
but I know the TikTok one right? is, yeah.
But and then it's like the TikTok where it starts playing and you get you're homie in the background dancing. It's like, I just took a dick and up my butt.
Yeah. Yes. And then they stop and they're like,
yo.
Oh. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I'll have to come back to this, because interesting about the artist, because there was another on my way back, the guy that picked me up, I don't know, I can't remember who it was, but he was playing some song that I was like, yo, this is awesome.
Yeah.
It was kind of folky. But the guy's voice was incredible. So distinct.
Yeah.
And I hope I can find it, because I'm pretty sure I took a screen cap.
Nice.
And so I'll talk about it next time. If I remember.
Please do. I would love to. I mean, I don't know. For some reason, I've just been trying to find new artists to listen to. I don't, regardless of genre. Mostly it's been R&B, soul, and pop. Weird combination, but yeah.
Shawn James.
Shawn James.
I don't remember the name of the song that was playing, because I just took a screen cap of the the Spotify playlist. But he's got a song called "The Curse of the Fold" or "Through the Valley." Man, such an interesting voice. 10 out of 10 recommend.
Nice.
Glad I found that. I've realized that my memory sucks ass in a lot of things where I'm like, oh, I'll remember this, and I turn around and I'm like, what what just
Potato.
happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much potato.
Yeah.
So I've been like screen capping so many things now where I'm like, I'll look it up, screen cap it, and just be like, it's going to be my photos.
Yeah.
I'll remember that I wanted to remember this, and then I'll find it and be like, yes, go Ryan. Go past me.
I had to test my library, my 90s library today on the way back home. So I was sitting in traffic for an hour and a half.
Gross.
And I was like, damn, I wonder if my lyric knowledge is still there. And I put on the 90s playlist, and here's another thing that's weird about my brain.
Let's go.
If you give me 3 seconds on the intro of a song, I could tell you what song it was.
Bro,
For like most of the songs.
I try and do that.
Yeah.
There is this.
I don't try to do that. That's the thing. Like people will like have control of the whatever, and they're skipping, and like 1 or 2 seconds will go by, and I go, oh, put that back. And they're like, how do you even know what that was? And I go, oh, it's this, blah, blah, blah. Watch. Sure enough.
There was this beautiful mind moment where I think my parents were, I don't remember, whatever. We were in Long Beach for something. And there was like some musicians playing outside of this like place. And I mean, it like literally had to have been like a split second of like something played. Like this guy played the guitar, and I was like 99 Red Balloons. And Marissa always talks about that, or will bring that up constantly, where she was like not even a second of the song, and you just called it out. And I remember saying that, and then standing there and being like, "Is it?" And it like played for just like a little bit longer. And I was like, "How did I do that?"
Yeah, it's crazy. It's really crazy. I mean, 99 Red Balloons. That one, like as soon as you said that, the first 3 seconds came into my head, and I was like, "Oh yeah, I know that.
Yeah.
I know that intro."
But it was like we weren't even listening to the music. It just kind of played in the background.
Yeah.
And she was just like, "What did you just say?"
Yeah.
And I'm like, "They're about to play 99 Red Balloons." All right.
Yeah.
The original, not the Offspring version.
No, the gold member version?
Goldfinger
version. Sorry.
Yes, correct. We were both, whatever.
Yeah.
But yes, Goldfinger. Offspring? Yeah. I just like the Offspring. Look, I love the bands. Just got to keep them separated.
Yes.
Nothing, not even a chuckle?
I'm smiling.
Oh, I can't see it. Okay, I need affirmation. All right. Anything else you want to throw into the mix?
Let us know who your favorite Spice Girl is and tell us why.
Oh, yes.
We can have that debate.
Favorite
That's
Spice?
not really a debate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm comfortable just being like, you pick whichever you want.
Yeah.
I don't have a strong bias.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's kind of LB.
Should be Sporty Spice.
And so favorite Spice Girl, favorite song.
Ooh, yes. Ooh.
I mean, that's a tough one.
That is a tough one.
So, like, there's a decent one.
I think I might have to go back and listen to their first 2 albums.
I think, well, to become one is, in my opinion, one of the best love songs.
I agree.
And I think Spice Up Your Life is always a fun one. That one gets
very
me going.
fun. I don't know if it's my favorite. It's a really good song. I can't deny that. Then you got, Wannabe. You got oh my God. Now I'm blanking on it. The lyrics are there, but my brain's like,
it's okay.
Don't try it. We can't do it.
Don't try. We're gonna just make ourselves look stupid.
The fact that we named 3 though, it's pretty impressive. And all the Spice Girls.
And all the Spice Girls.
Yeah.
I feel like most people forget about Ginger. I feel like that's the one. Like most redheads, people forget about them.
Evil laugh.
Oh, speaking of evil laughs, have you heard I'm convinced now that Jeff Bezos is an actual supervillain because you have to listen to his laugh.
I'll have to listen to it.
Because his laugh is like a series of like ha 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 ha.
Oh.
Just evil villainry.
Oh, I gotta listen to
and
his
it's
laugh.
super weird.
I got Lex Luthor style.
Yes.
Listen to it.
Also, since you have to listen to the sound like William Shatner when he went up in space on Bezos's dick rocket, because it is hilarious. because they have this like they have him like mic'd up.
Yeah.
And it's just him like in his
Suit.
like just beautiful William Shatner voice, just being like, "Oh my. Oh wow." And he's like, "It is magnificent." And like it's so weird.
How old is that dude?
Well, I don't know.
He's going up in a rocket?
He's up there.
Jeez.
Like Chris Pratt as Mario, he's so cool. If you don't get that reference, watch the video about it.
Oh.
Because it's awesome. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Frankie farted. Oh my god.
Do you know what I'm talking about when I say like so cool?
No.
So they announced like the Mario thing, and they were going through the cast as who's going to be who.
Yeah.
Don't blow that towards me, man.
Oh my god.
And so he,
Your mask on.
yeah, dude. Shout out to Smart Mask, man. I keep this thing around my neck all of the time. It's
They
super
block
convenient.
dog farts.
Save you from dog farts. Just brush your teeth. But they were going through all like the characters, and I think it was originally in Japanese, and then they dubbed it.
Yeah.
But it dubbed weird, and so there's this point where it goes like, and for Mario, it's gonna be Chris Pratt, and like weird pause, and it goes, "He's so cool." And then just moves on. And it's just super weird.
Oh, no, I haven't seen that, but
You gotta watch it.
yeah.
It's awesome.
Things don't translate well in other languages.
No, you know what's interesting? I was reading about this when they were doing or watching a video about when they're doing like dubbing, because sometimes they have to like change the words
Yeah.
a little bit to try and match like what the mouth movements of the anime is.
Oh.
So sometimes they'll change words around.
Yeah.
They'll mess with like sentences, so that way it makes sense. Even though they're just like cartoon characters just opening up and stuff, we can kind of like visualize roughly what the sounds are supposed to be made based off like their facial expressions and stuff.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah, so I thought that was like really interesting that they have to do that for dubbing at least, which is part of the reason why it takes so long, because it's not as easy as just like translate, read over.
Yeah.
They actually try and make it look presentable.
Yeah. Because, I mean, with all languages translating, it doesn't directly translate. So,
No.
yeah.
Especially Japanese. Japanese is an interesting one.
Bye, Stinky Boy.
Bye, I love you. Okay.
Anything else?
I'm good.
Fantastic.
I'm hungry.
Let's go.
Yes. All right, Eric, where can people find us?
You guys can find us at our Instagram at another_rep_podcast, or you can email us at anotherreppodcast@gmail.com.
You can listen to us wherever you listen to podcasts, as well as YouTubes. And you can catch me kind of occasionally streaming on Twitch, playing Dead by Daylight with the infamous Brian that we always talk about.
Yeah.
So if you ever want to be mildly offended, there you go.
Yeah, please join Brian.
Just listen to anything he has to say. It's a good time.
Absolutely. Also, enjoy the outro music.
Bye.
Bye.